So feeding off of that, because you guys have obviously lived it on that other scale and played it at really high levels and other side, what advice would you have to an aspiring player that is on that, about to make that jump into, this is what I want to do. Soccer is what I want to do. What advice would you give them?
If it's something they really want to do, to dive into it. You got to put everything into it. I think anything you want to do, if you're going to be successful, you got to put everything you have into it. You can't hold back. You can't hide in some ways. You got to throw everything you can into it. You got to be passionate. You got to be driven. You got to be willing to work, especially nowadays. How fit the players are. They work so hard. 2 sessions a day. They eat everything they eat. Put in their body is, the right things. We know so much more about the human body nowadays than we did 15, 20 years ago when I started playing.
Back then, was still the drinking culture was still alive and well back then.
Carb water is tough.
Carb was huge. Giant bowl of pasta the night
before a game. Pasta, right? Like hydrating and carbs.
Yeah. Water and pasta. We know so much more about the human body, but that's also why you're seeing players last so long. Close to me, my brother was one of those. He played till he was 40 because he took such good care of his body.
Yeah.
But I think that's what you got to do. You got to immerse yourself in it, throw yourself completely into it. You've got to be obsessed. If you want to make it to the top level, you got to be obsessed about it. I think all the best players in the world, you look at your Ronaldos, your Messis, those guys are obsessed with getting better. You look at, in any sport, the top players are obsessed. Yeah. They work at the game. They go to sleep thinking about the game. They wake up thinking about the game. What can I do? Like any little margin of game they can get. That'll give me 2%, I'm going to do it. That'll give me 2 more %, I'm going to do it, It's an obsession for what you do. And I think for anyone who's truly successful in anything they do, they're obsessed with it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jordan, did you have anything to add to that?
No, it's the same.
I said it perfectly.
No, you did.
Don't ruin it now.
No, you did. The kids I coach now, or I coach a lot of people privately, and it's 1% a month. If you're 13 and you can get 1% a month, in 3 years you're getting 30% better, roughly. So that's a big improvement.
10% would be 30.
1% a month over 3 years, Nash. So I'm doing my accounting and finance. So you take 12 months a year.
I think I was thinking a year.
So you're looking at 30 over 3 years. But if you take someone who's like 16,
we don't need to get tech.
Not technical. Like I'm a numbers person. I can't tell you how to spell like my name, but whatever. And
I think it might be because of a couple empties.
No, I can't say that. Why are you saying that on TV for? Like,
it's a plug for real. Beer's really good. Look.
Yeah. No, but it is, and there's not enough, which is different. Like it's a whole different episode of people here. The amount of conversations I have of my kid didn't make ASA, or my kid didn't make Rex, or my kid didn't make Tier 1, or my kid didn't make Tier 2. It's like, your kid's 11 years old. Nash didn't play soccer until he was 20, right? So
it's just that good, mate.
You're that good. And you have to be obsessed with it. And there's so many people, and I think now that I've been involved with it for a couple of years, is the CMSA, which is under 18, to university. Big gap because people get to university. You go CMSA 6 times a week, 7 times a week, which, moving here now, it's like a shock to people. You train that much. When you go to university, and class, girls, you can drink, you can do all this stuff. No, like, it's true, is you can do all that stuff, and you lose sight on, I want to play soccer. I'm a great Tier 1 player. I'm a great Rex player. I'm a great ASA player. You lose sight on that. If you're not obsessed with it, you don't make it ever. Yeah. You're telling me Ronaldo, like, looking like he has Messi, looking like, you put those guys on a poster, it's like 6-pack. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. But, like, those guys don't go to university, or if they ever went to university, like, oh, like, there's a party this night at Cowboys. You go over, like, those guys are like, it's a Thursday, I have a game on Monday, like, I'm eating chicken and vegetables and this day. Like, you have to be obsessed with it. Like Nash said, to deal with it. If you can't deal with that, it's a different level. Yeah. And I think, like, for me personally, my biggest, like, eye-opening fact was there's CMSA, you can be great in CMSA and be crap at PDL. That's a huge jump. You can be great at PDL, and now we're looking at CPL players. It's like, yeah, they don't make the jump. That's great. You're good at CMSA. You have to be obsessed to make the jump.
Yeah.
And if you're not, like, and for me,
I think especially at the young levels, it's got to be athlete driven, not parent driven, right? The player's got to want it. The parent can't be like, I do this, I do that for you, and they want it more than the kid.
Yeah, you
the
see that
kid
a lot.
has to want it, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where part of it is. If the kid wants, he's out there working his tail off to get better, right? If the parent wants, the kid's just out there just to try and have fun, right?
You know what? I gotta ask this question. Maybe I shouldn't, because I know we've been on a great high. But would you consider, was there a low point in your career at any moment?
Yeah, I think so. There's always low points, right? I think, I had a tough time in England at parts when we were my second year at Stockport, because I was away on international duty a lot, doing well for Canada, but coming back because I kept leaving and they kept playing games, found myself out of the team a lot. And, it wasn't, and a lot of times it wasn't fair. But because I kept leaving, the manager at the time was making appointments,
But
so I
how
was trying
did
to
you
deal with
overcome
it.
that?
It was tough because it was an era where you didn't, the manager wasn't approachable, so I kind of lent on my friends a little bit and family, but I got through it and it made me stronger. At the end of the day, it made me a stronger character, a stronger person. After that, and at the time I was 20, 21, so it took a lot to deal with. I deserved to play, and he would play games on me and tricks. And I remember, I think the last international I went away with, a lot of times coming off the bench a lot, and he pulled me into his office and he wrote every player's name on the board, right? And I didn't even notice when, and he walks by me, because it was, as you walk in the room, the board was there, and he goes, turn around, he goes, this is every player in the club, 1 to 50 or whatever it was. And I was at number 11, so you were starting this weekend, but I was leaving the next day international duty. He goes, this is where you are. He rubbed my name out and goes, you're not here, so writes me at the bottom of the youth team, all the youth team players, this is where you'll be when you get back. Have fun. And I looked at him, and it was like,
That's a dagger to the heart.
yeah, and you want to say something. He's like, you can go, and it's like,
You do, yeah.
you know what I mean? What do you do? And it was, it made me stronger as a person, and but it was unfair in a lot of ways, but that was the way it was back then, right? So, you have a lot of learning experiences, but if you take it in the right way and learn from it and become a stronger person, it helps you persevere. But that was probably one of the lowest points in my career.
And I think you compare that same notion to the kids nowadays. Somebody who's 18, 19, they get treated like that. What are they doing?
Yeah.
Shut them down.
Yeah, shut
That's
down.
it. It's hard to come back from that.
But 19, 20 years old on my own in England, and you're a man, a young man at the time, but it's not easy to deal with, and I don't have any family in Manchester area, so you just had to deal with it. And I'm living at Diggs with a bunch of guys, and luckily I had a good friend who was a pro living in Diggs with me, and he helped me through it a lot. And, talking to people back home, but a lot of people could give up on that point, going, it's easy to give up, but how hard are you willing to work to get through it?
Yeah.
And early in my career, I was able to work through it and still have a good career, but
Jordan, so I understand your lowest points. We're down to left and right.
we were done, I thought.
Well, come on.
As long as you
I
can't
can't
keep
keep
up
up to that. I can't keep up to that. He's spot on.
he was
People don't do
coaching.
that.
He was coaching at that age, by
Yeah.
then.
People don't do that anymore, though.
No.
They don't. So, no, my lowest point was before my hip surgery, and there was a 6-month spell where physio was the way to go. I needed surgery the whole time, and clubs aren't willing to invest in surgery because it's way more expensive than having the guys on salary do it. And I needed hip surgery at the time, and I was at Cardiff, and I could have been back 18 months earlier than I was. Didn't invest. I'd go to the PFA about it, which is like a union basically of players to be I ain't getting cut open. It's been 8 months. This surgery's supposed to take 4 months after surgery. What's happening? They step in, get surgery, and then you move on. But it's tough. There's the life cycle of managers is very small in professional sports, and I had a 3-year contract sitting on the line, and you go with the manager getting sacked, and now you need surgery, and you have 0 contract on the line, so it's tough. Similar to Nash, like you go away, and the thing with Canada is I don't know if it still is. It'd be interesting to know is when you get called away in international duty, it's not always the international window because CONCACAF's different than Europe, right? So if he's going away and he's playing Honduras or whoever, but all the other people have a game on Saturday. It's not like in England. If you play for England, you get called away because your weekend's off. You get called away Tuesday, you're away for the weekend.
Back then, there was no windows.
No.
So it was like my team's playing and I'm away.
Yeah, and I had that when I was at Cardiff as well with under 20s. Was well, you're missing 3 games over this 10-day. So I'm like, well, do you go with Canada or do you go stay with your club? So we all go through that over here. I think it's changed a little bit. I don't think it's much. I still feel like there's a lot.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, manager gets paid to win games.
Yeah.
And if
He's
you're
gonna
not
put his
there,
best foot
if
forward,
Nashy's not there, if I'm not there, if your best player's not there, you
Easy-
win the
easily
game, like
forgotten.
you're sacked. Like you're so easily forgotten.
Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
easily, and that's the toughest part is in any other job in Canada or in the world, oh hey, Simon, I'm gonna take 2 weeks off, it's a couple weeks away. You happy with it? Great. Whereas for us, we get a call, you're called up to Canada, yeah, I gotta go to Canada. Well, if we don't win Saturday, I could be sacked. Right? Like it's like, see you later.
Yeah.
Changing managers is big.
Yeah.
So-
Face might not fit anymore.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and that's just the reality of the beast, right?
Yeah.
When you fit what one team's doing, a new manager comes in, you don't fit what he wants to do.
Yeah.
You're out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's
Yeah, so I'll copy Nashy, it's the same. Like
Yeah.
you get called out of duty, see you later.
yeah.
You have no choice as a player. You have no choice. People don't realize that. I think CPL MLS is different because they're around North American
Yeah.
transfer cycles, but you don't have a choice. You're told what to do. You're told where to play. You're told how you're going to play. So if you win games, no one cares, and that's why Jose Mourinho gets sacked 'cause he sucks, or is it because he sucks, or is it because players were leaving when they weren't supposed to? Because those Canadian players are hard to come by.
Yeah.
So you look deep into Simon, you look deep into those Canadian players in Man United. That
Yeah.
could be why.
Yeah.
Well, I guess really on that note, we pretty much
Covered
covered
almost
everything.
Well,
Really.
if you didn't cover everything, Martin. I know.
Do you ate up a bit of your airtime there? Apologies on that.
Well, there's
Alright.
there's things that I'm
but
passionate
He's got a
about.
lot to say.
Yeah, he does.
Nashty's new to Cavalry. There's things that I'm passionate about. You have to speak to him.
We definitely appreciate you guys' time and coming and sitting here and having a couple of beers. It really are.
Thank you. Really appreciate
Jordan.
it. Thank you.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll do handshakes. So that looks up video.
Appreciate it, guys.
You turn those off.